morning and welcome to our Facebook Live this evening. My name's Jenny McCormack and I'm independent Stampin' Up demonstrator and I'm based in Brackley in Northamptonshire in the UK. Thank you so much for joining me this evening. I set myself a bit of a challenge, so we'll see whether this is going to work. When I did our Give It a Whirl class a little while ago, I thought it would be really interesting to have the phases of the moon going around in the circle of the die. And so I set myself the challenge of doing that. Because we're using the To the Moon the stamp set this week, I thought that's the perfect excuse, and put that together with the Give It a Whirl dies and see what we come up with. So it's mostly in my head, so wish me luck getting this one down on paper. I've also come in from class, hi Carol, and my bag is packed for the next class. I'm hoping that I've got enough product in front of me to do what I need to do, and do bear with me if that isn't the case. So what I'm going to do is start by showing you the components for the Give It a Whirl card. Then I'm going to stamp the phases of the moon around in the circle, all being well, and then put the card together and we'll see what occurs, see whether it works. So I'm going to switch you over to my crafting table and let's give that a go. Sorry, this rather weird thing hanging over here is one of my spare spotlights. So it does look rather weird, doesn't it? It looks like something, a big door handle, but it is a spotlight, so I do apologise. So I'm going to pop you over to my table and let's give it a go for some crafting. So bear with me. Okay, right, so I have a few components at the ready. Let me grab the stamp set as well for you to see it. I'm hoping that's not too much in the light. Let me just hop on and see if the system is working properly on my phone. And let's have a look. Oh, I don't need any volume though. Apologies. I can honestly say you only need to hear me once. You don't need to hear me twice. And certainly not in echo. So let me find Jemini Crafts on Facebook. And let's get cracking with some crafting. So we had a great card class this afternoon, so thanks to the ladies that joined us for that. I'm just looking at the picture and it's the wrong one because I'm wearing the wrong dress. Right, let me try this one. This is better. So hi Brenda and hi Carol, hi Jeanette. Thanks for joining us this evening. So this is the stamp set To the Moon, and this is the one that I'm going to use, but I want to do it just a small amount at a time. So I may use the marker pens or I may use an ink pad. And the dies I'm using are the Give It a Whirl dies that allow you to do a card with a window and a spinner behind, so that different things will pop into view of the window. Just looking to see if my samples are at hand. I have a couple. Okay, so I did a class on this. So this one has actually got butterflies all the way around. Okay, but as you spin the wheel, you get a different picture. So this one here says today's plan consume, and then you've got chocolate, says best wishes, you've got coffee and cookies. So my idea is where this spinning wheel is, I'm going to have the phases of the moon. Here is another one. Hi Tracy. Hi Amy. Oh, hi from Canada. Thanks for joining us. And this one here has got coffee, little coffee cup. It's got cookies, and then it's got chocolate. Okay, so we did lots of different ones for those, and I have a class based around that. You can still buy all the tutorials for that class, even though the class itself has passed. You can buy all the tutorials, which are video tutorials, one for each different card design that we did. So in the Give It a Whirl dies, you have lots of different shapes of window that you can use. So we have this little one here, like a segment. We have a heart, we have a rectangle, and the one I've used for today is a circle. We also have clouds and stars, so these stars might come in handy for later on. And then you've got other little hearts, more clouds, some banners, and some little shaped arrows. And then this piece here allows you to do a scallop edge around the front, so we might use that one later on. So let me show you the components I've got ready, and we're going to give this a go. Now I have cut 2 of these in case I make an unmitigated disaster with the first one. That is quite possible. And I've got a Misty Moonlight base card which has been scored and cut. So an A4 sheet cut in half, and here I have a bone folder. So it's just going to use a standard size UK card for that. And then I've cut out this piece here, and my moon image is going to be behind this. So these holes here will line up, and we'll use a brad for that. And then we can spin this round to get the different pictures. So I'm going to concentrate on this piece. This is the piece that comes out of the middle. So you can pop that in your die cut box and use it for something else. So let me grab the stamp set. Okay, so we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 images all together. And they are all on one stamp. Okay, so obviously we're not going to be able to bend that round in any way, shape or form. And what I'm thinking for this is probably to use a I can either cover them up and use an ink pad, but I think what I might try is with a Night of Navy pen and see if that will work. So I'm going to grab an offcut of card. Oh, that's got a little gem on it, but it will do for my purpose. I'm going to mount this up onto a block because I want to see how the marker pen, how well it will work, because this is photopolymer, so it doesn't transfer over as well from a marker pen as it would using a proper ink pad. Having said that, I've got a sneaking suspicion I do have a Misty Moonlight small ink pad, so that would also work. So let me see if I can grab that to start with. And a pen. So I've got a Night of Navy ink spot here. These are little ones. Okay. And I'll grab a pen as well, and we can see how they will work. So this is a Night of Navy marker pen. So just for trial purposes, I'm just going to stamp, this is actually shimmer white card, but I just want to stamp on it to see. So let me just try two things. One is try with the ink pad, and I'm just going to, I would say find some scissors, but I'm just going to tear that off. So I'm just going to use this on here. Now when I come to do it, I only want one of these inked at any one time. Okay, but this will just give me an idea how well the ink is going to transfer. So if you can see that, it's a distinctive stamp, so all of that shading is done for you. And I'm just going to try the same thing with the pen, because obviously the pen is easier to colour up one stamp at a time. But what I'm not sure of is how well that's going to transfer. So I'm just going to stamp this underneath, like so. Oh, it's perfect. So there's obviously more ink in my pen than there is in the ink pad, so that makes life a lot easier. So I'm actually going to use my Stampin' Write marker pen. But what you could easily do is tape over or put post-it note over the other images as you ink them up. Remove the post-it note and then stamp it. So what I need is something just to write that with, and all my chamois are in my bag. So I'm just going to use the edge of this cloth here. Okay. So, doesn't matter which way round this goes. And I've got 7, I said, didn't I? So what I want to do is basically divide this into 7 segments. Okay, and I'm going to end up with the moon in a particular place. Now, normally if I was stamping around to keep it in the same place, I would use a Stamparatus, but obviously with this I need to be able to move it around. So what I'm going to do is just take a little brad, which I happen to have here, which is pure coincidence, put that through there and through my white layer, and this is just a temporary fix, because what I want to do is work out where that is in relationship to my stamped moon. So this is, I would say it's quite a complex card, but because the moon is all on one stamp, now I could just cut this up if I wanted to, but I like the faces of the moon like that. It's perfect. If I was going to do a lot of these, then I would probably cut them up and then just stamp them individually. But what I want to do is get an idea for how I'm going to fit these all in. So I'm going to grab a pencil, and I like the circle because it's like the shape of the moon, but obviously you could use a different shape entirely. And what I'm going to do is just put a sort of semicircle on either side of here. If I just bring that back a little bit, so I know that's where my full moon is going to go. Okay, and then I'm going to, what I want to do is just move this a little way around like so for the next one. Now I need to get 7 in total, so I am just going to, I should really, you know, put my maths to good use here. and calculate what that should be, but I'm not going to. I'm just going to do it by eye. So I'm putting this piece in roughly the same position. If I get it completely wrong, I'll rub out and start again. So, oops. So this is the, what would you call it? The lazy way to work it out. Alright, I can see this one coming in here. So what I haven't been doing is counting to see how many I've used. So let's undo this and have a look. It's a shame there's not 8 altogether, because that would be quite useful. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And this one here is 6. That would be a bit of a miracle, wouldn't it, really? One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. Looks something like a kaleidoscope or that spirograph or something, wouldn't it? Right. So what I'm going to do is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I want to start. So what I'm looking at is this sort of V-shaped here, top and bottom. Looks like a flower. It does look like a flower, Tracy. You're quite right. Maybe if I just had a 6-petaled flower, I could put that on. That would be better. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah. Okay. So what I'm going to do is stamp my first one in there. Then I'm going to spin it to that next section. So it's a little bit hit and miss, but I do know where I've got these pieces here, that is either side of my circle. So I know that if I'm stamping roughly in this middle sort of gully here, it should work. Okay, now as I say, this was all entirely in my head, so this could all go completely wrong, but nothing ventured and nothing gained. So here we go. So I'm going to start with this first one. Just breathe on it. I'm just going to bring it down into sort of my line of view and put it in this centerpiece here. Okay. Then I'm going to move it to the next one, which is in here. I'm going to wipe this off so I'm not transferring anything, and dry it with a cloth. Because obviously what I don't want is any edge of that one. Now I'm going to ink up this next one here and get rid of the cat hair that is on it. Okay, so this is the next one, and I can see that hair. There it is. So sorry if this is slightly painful for you all. I do apologise, but hopefully it will be worth it. Okay, so this is my next one, and this is going to go in this next sort of gap here, this segment. So I'm going to pop that on there. Like so. This is my next one. Let's wipe this down. So I just want to make sure that is completely clear. Then I'm going to do my sort of 3/4 moon in this next little gap. I can actually see I've got some bits on there. It's relaxing for Jeanette. Excellent. Right, let's try that one again. So I've got my sort of 3/4 moon. I can see some tiny little bits on there which is really annoying me. Hopefully. Okay. And making sure I'm doing it from the right side, otherwise it will suddenly be a waning moon when it should be a waxing moon or whatever. So this one is going to go in here, like so. Now I suppose what I ought to do is just check it is actually popping into the window. Which it seems to be, so I'm just lining that up. Yep. Okay. This is the next one. So this is where my sort of join is. And I did that that was just luck really that I had the right number. Nothing more than that. Okay, so this is the full moon version. Now in my head I had the idea of doing this in silver embossing or white embossing. Needless to say, I think that'd be quite difficult. I think if you had a protractor and you measured the angles properly, it would be a lot easier. Okay, there's my full moon, and now I'm working from the right to the left. So this is going to go in here, like so. And then this is the next one. And what I'm actually going to do is I'm actually going to skip to this one. And that's got to be that way, hasn't it? Just so that I've got a little bit more space if I need it for that larger sort of 3/4 moon. Okay. It's this one. This one. And I can see that only because of the colour of the ink on my stamp. So this is going to go there. And then this one in this quarter is going to be my the one before that, my 3/4 moon. I'm glad you all find it very therapeutic. I thought you might find it slightly annoying. Because it's not me just, you know, stamping, it's a little bit of playing around. Just moving this off. So this is one reason why you don't use a baby wipe on your distinctive stamps, because the tiny little fibres get everywhere. Okay, right, so this one is going to go in there. Whew. Okay, before I do any rubbing out of that, I'm just going to try it on here. Then I am going to decorate the front of this. So let's see, I'm going to put my brad through there. Got ink on my fingers. Just flatten that down and try it out. Quite sure how I got ink on my fingers, quite like that. Okay, so there we go. Full moon, waning, and then it's round again. Have I missed one out? A 7 in there. And I've done 6. Because this last one here should be that way round. Okay, I'm still going to finish this off as it is. So I just want to get a really good rubber. So that was close, wasn't it, really? Let me just grab, I need to grab my first aid kit, which is in my bag, with my good quality rubber. Did nobody spot that I'd only done 6 and that it requires 7? Right, excuse me while I just grab my mini first aid kit. Oh, there we go. Sorry about that, girls. Hi, Lenny. Hope you're okay after your physio and everything today. Right, here's my first aid kit. So, as well as plasters, it has emergency first aid for cards, which is an adhesive remover, an ink remover, and a good quality rubber eraser. So I just want to be careful that I don't move any of this ink, so just going to be a little bit careful. So Heath Robinson, I think would be the best description of this working out for my card, but I did promise I would try it. And I might do another one after, because actually if there's 7, I could do cut it into mark it into 8, which would be quite easy, and then have a space for some stars or something in between, couldn't I? So that would be a little bit easier in the longer run. Okay, but you get the principle. So we've used this single stamp, we've used a marker pen so that we're only inking up the moon in the sections that we need. Okay. So what I'm going to do for this front piece here, and this is going to go on to, oh bless you, this is going to go on the front of our Misty Moonlight card. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to stamp some of the elements from To the Moon, and I might do Love You to the Moon and Back. That's my sentiment. But what I want to do is, I could use the big moon here. That would work. Let me just do a little bit of this stamping here. So just get my scrap of paper. And as I've got the pen here, I might as well just use the pen, but I could use the ink pad. So this is the little constellation. Oops. Put that on there. And as I say, the Give It a Whirl dies actually have some nice stars on them as well. Let's stamp Love You to the Moon and Back. I think is this one. And again, I might as well just use the pen while it's here. So just using the wider tip along the edge of the stamp at an angle, so that you're covering up a fair amount. Okay. So I've got Love You to the Moon and Back. Hopefully that splodge isn't going to transfer. Nope. There we go. So I hope you can see that all right. Love You to the Moon and Back. And then I've got some little stars here. I'm going to use. Oh. So what I might do when we finish here is I might redo this with my 8 divided into 8, so that I can get the 7 elements of the moon and then some stars in the gap. That's my plan. But you don't need to stay while I do that unless you particularly want to. There we go. So it's a sweet little stamp set, this. And this is what we'll be using for coffee and card on Friday and Monday. And I might just use this one with the tiny little stars on to fill in. They really are tiny. Not even sure I need them really. There we go. And then we can put that card together. Right, I'll leave it at that. Not going to go mad and overdo it, she says. Okay, let's pop that on there. So the way that this will work is my brad is going to go through here, and I've got my images coming up and across there. See a little bit of pencil mark. Okay, now what I like to do in putting this together is I like to put some dimensionals on the back of here, but with their backings still in place, because that will lift it up off the base card here. Otherwise you can't get it spinning particularly well, like so. And then put some strips of our self-adhesive foam tape behind that, so that lifts that even higher. So that is the plan. So I'm going to redo this piece now with my corrected moons. So I'm going to do all 7 moons, as there should be. So if you've seen enough, then you can hop back and just jump back in when this when you get to this part. So I'll put a little marker on it so you know at what point this is. Let me see if I can tell how long it is. So 37 minutes. At 37 minutes you can skip back to this bit, and then I'll put the whole card together. So I'm just going to redo this one so that it's a bit, I've got the correct moons in there. We put the top on here, but if you've seen enough and you need to go, that's absolutely fine. I fully understand. I want this with a bit of marker on it. So all I'm going to do is just section this into 4 and then 4 again. Just with my ruler. Start here. And it's going to go, I'm going to make it go obviously through that centre line. So this is actually going to become the line that I stamp on. Okay. Got ink over that. Oh no, it might be alright, it might not show. I'm going to give it a go. Don't know why I've got ink everywhere today. Right, unless it was on there. Okay, so this one, so this will give me obviously quarters, and then I'm going to do it in between the two. And there. Oops. Right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so if anybody's still here, thank you for putting up with me. I'm going to wipe this down and start again. So I'm just going to do exactly the same treatment, but this time I'm going to stamp on the line itself. So I'm just going to use the pen. I'm going to do this relatively quickly so you're not sitting there all night when you could be doing something far more interesting. I'm going to take my okay, so number 1. And I know I need to do it part of the way up, like half of the way up. There's 1. There's obviously hairs on there. And 2. Okay, next one. Just a bit. Thank goodness for clear stamps. Okay, this is 3, which is my 3/4. And then 4. You know what's going to happen, don't you? You're going to do this and they're going to think, actually, I preferred the first one, even though it was inaccurate. I can't tell you how much fluff I put on there. I need a pair of tweezers to pick this out. Okay. Okay, make sure this one is clean. So here's my full moon. And then I'm going to work down the other side. I suppose if you were using just Versamark and then heat embossing the whole thing, as long as you were relatively quickly, you could do all of this stamping, then add the embossing powder and emboss it. Let's get rid of these hairs. Okay. So maybe it wouldn't be as difficult as all that. Okay. That one. This one. Anybody left? Tracy and Jeanette, thank you. I think I'm going to have to rinse this out of the tap afterwards, be much better. It's because I used a baby wipe and it's one of those, you know, extra soft. Which equals extra fluffy in the stamping world. Okay. Right, this is going that way, isn't it? That one. Yep, that's the right way around. Whew. And then this one here. Made it. Okay. It's going to be that way, isn't it? Made it. All right. So that's better. 1, 2, 3. Full moon. Waning, waning, waning. And then here I'm going to put some stars. I think I'm just going to put this little one here because it's too small for a sentiment to go in there. So let's just grab that. There we go. You could actually leave a gap as well between those if you wanted to. Okay, so I seem to have made a bit of a mess of that one way and another, but let's just rub this out. So I might even redo this again, but I won't make you watch me do it another time because that's really asking too much. So just make sure you're using a good quality rubber if you've got pencil lines, and make sure your ink is dry. There we go. Just working my way around it. So I've got a few extra imprints here where I wasn't really cleaning my stamp properly. And I've got a little mark there now. Okay, let me see if I can get rid of any of that. And to say, if not, I'm probably going to redo this, and I am going to try embossing. Dangerous, I know. Okay, so not the prettiest, for which I apologise, but let's see now if that works. I need to find my little brad. Here it is. So it's going to go through here first, and then through here, like so, and then the mechanism will be like that. So you've got new moon, so that one, waning to the stars, and then a new one starting. So I think that works quite well with the stars. You could, I think, you could even leave that as a gap before the next moon, because actually it would be yes, the opposite of that, full moon. Okay, there we are. So that was what I wanted to achieve. So I am going to do a better version of that, because I'm not happy with the marks on there. But can you see how that would now operate? So do you think I should leave the stars in the middle, or should I just leave that completely plain? Any suggestions? Carol's still here. Thank you, Carol. So I love you to the moon and back. And there is the moon. What I might do, so this is quite I might do two of these. So one I might do in Misty Moonlight with white embossing, or silver embossing perhaps would be a little bit kinder. And then it would look like that moon is coming up, and then I'll leave, instead of having the stars, I'll leave that one completely clear, so it's just becomes just blue sky, plain. Yes, Tracy says plain. So yes, I think what I was going to do is leave those stars out. So I am going to do another one, but I won't do it online, because you've seen me do all of this. You know exactly what I'm going to do, but I'm going to do it on a Misty Moonlight piece of card, I think, with silver embossing powder, and see what that looks like. But that is the principle of the card. So the Give It a Whirl dies do all this mechanism for you. So they cut this piece out, it cuts the circular piece out. Obviously you do need brads to go with it, but we had all sorts of things popping up through the windows. But I had in mind that this would be lovely for that moon. So that is what I'm going to go off and do now. So thank you. When I've finished it, I'll put it mounted up properly, and then I'll pop a photograph on here, and also maybe a little video of it working, so that you can see the finished result. That is, Jeanette says. So there we go. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining me this evening. So all being well, I will be back tomorrow morning, 10 AM, Wednesday morning here in the UK. So I'll be able to show you my finished card there and then. I will get my stamp washed underneath the tap, because it's got lots of little hairs on. This is the culprit, one of these soft and very furry baby wipes. So don't use those, use the really cheap hard ones. And even better, use a simply chamois to clean your stamps off with in between. So thank you so much for joining me this evening. I will let you go for tonight, and I look forward to crafting with you again really soon. Thank you, Tracy. Thank you, Carol, Jeanette, Brenda, and Lynn. And I'm not sure if Amy is still with us from Canada, but if you are, Amy, thank you for joining me. Always appreciate company. Thank you for your nice comments and your feedback, and I'll craft with you again really soon. Thank you so much for watching me tonight. Take care. Have a good evening, day, morning, afternoon, whenever you're watching this. If you're watching on replay or catch up and you have any questions, don't hesitate to put those in the comment section and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Thank you so much, everybody. Appreciate your time. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.